Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Steelrising. Moment. Da muss ich lang. Ich habe jetzt von Nvidia, von GeForce Experience mal das Ding drüber laufen lassen, damit es mir automatisch optimiert, aber irgendwie ruckelt es immer noch. Ich habe irgendwie das Gefühl, es hat nicht so ganz funktioniert. So, Pollenfuzzi und das ist einer von den ganz schwachen da, ja, oder? Oh, das war doch einer. Shit, den habe ich nicht gesehen. Na komm. Komm. Drei gleichzeitig will ich nicht unbedingt. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. So, jetzt aber. Yes, und die Fiole auch wieder zurück. Obwohl ich schon das Gefühl habe, dass es ein bisschen besser läuft. Von der Performance. Aber das schwankt ja eh von Gebiet zu Gebiet, deswegen kann man es nicht so genau sagen. Und war das ein Shortcut? Yes! So. Naja. Guck mal so, als wüsste ich, wo ich bin. Aha, aha, aha. So, da ist nichts. Da ist definitiv noch ein Item irgendwo. Ach, die sind ja so durchschaubar. So, was haben wir hier noch? Auch nur Sackgasse oder was? Sieht so aus, als gäbe es einen Grund, dass man da hoch kann. Aber irgendwie auch nicht. Na gut, dann muss ich da doch zurück. Ah, da geht's weiter. So. Da geht's hoch. Wieso macht mir hier nicht ein Soldaten hinter mir in den Rücken fällt oder sowas? Das schreit doch bei mich danach. Ah, da käme ich auch wieder hoch. Ich gehe erstmal hier rein. Modulschlüssel. Na gut. So. Ups. Jetzt die Frage, gehe ich jetzt da mal runter? Da ist nichts. Ah, da muss ich ja eh hin, das ist praktisch. Wie komme ich da rüber? Autsch. Da ist wieder so ein dämlicher. Das Eisen. Also ich habe das Gefühl, ich sollte da nicht ins Wasser hüpfen. So, hier wäre der Weg zurück. Keine Items mehr, okay. Nach oben muss ich jetzt, glaube ich, nicht. Ich weiß nicht, ob der auch Kamikaze macht. Sieht nicht so aus. Oder? So. Ah, da geht's nach unten. Da ist nichts, aber hier könnte noch was sein. Ja. Okay, dann schauen wir mal nach da unten. Überzeugt mich nicht so ganz, weil... Ja, dachte ich mir. Also nicht, dass es so krass ausfällt. Ich dachte eigentlich, ich laufe gegen eine unsichtbare Barriere oder sowas. Das ist jetzt schon uncool. Oh, Moment, hier wollte ich auch noch gucken. Ach nee, hier war ich tatsächlich schon. Ja. So. Okay, das war jetzt aber gar nicht mal so praktisch. Ah, da komme ich noch hin, okay. Aber auch das ist nicht so praktisch, wie ich es jetzt mir erhofft habe. Wow, ich habe schon befürchtet, ich sterbe gleich schon wieder. So, wie komme ich jetzt hier rüber? Ja, da kann ich ja nicht rüberhüpfen über die Entfernung. Ein Haken ist hier aber auch nicht. Das ist ja jetzt ungünstig. Also ich kann mir nicht vorstellen, dass ich so weit hüpfen kann. Nee, auf gar keinen Fall. Inventar, was haben wir da hübsches Neues? Natürlich auch ungünstig, dass man das nicht sieht. Also, weil sobald ich ja drauf navigiert bin, ist es weg. Artefakte hier. Module wollte ich ja nochmal gucken. Haben wir einige. Da, Stufe 3. Durchtränkungsdauer. Reparaturmodul. Haben wir da jetzt? Nix. Aufladestabilitätsmodul. Alchemie-Schutzmodul. Alles irgendwie nicht so der Burner, habe ich das Gefühl. So, wie zur Hölle komme ich jetzt darüber? Ich will es ja versuchen, aber ich bin halt instant dann tot und dann muss ich wieder hierher laufen. Ist doch auch Quatsch. Da muss es doch irgendwie einen Hinweis geben. Wenn sie hüpft, hüpft sie halt eigentlich nur nach oben. Ja, ich probiere es jetzt einmal, aber ich kann es mir echt nicht vorstellen, dass es funktionieren soll. Oh, es funktioniert. Okay. Habe ich ehrlich gesagt jetzt wirklich nicht erwartet, dass das klappt. So, da geht's rein. Das Öl ist immer gut, das brauche ich. Ach ja. Und?
The debt was no longer sustainable, Your Majesty. Your mechanical revolution has changed the face of the kingdom, but the coffers are woefully empty.
The debt, Monsieur Necker. This debt that you and your banking friends helped to create for your own benefit, and which is now forcing us to levy new taxes. Will my subjects be able to bear another tax?
Yes, Your Majesty, as long as it is distributed fairly. The representatives of the nobility, the clergy, and the Third Estate must come to an agreement. That is why we have convened the Estates General. Tomorrow you are to preside over the opening ceremonies.
Your Estates General. Nothing good can come of it. You have roused the spirit of rebellion. All I hear about are their damned cahiers de doléances. My rightful enjoyment is being challenged. The streets of Versailles are teeming with loudmouth fanatics with sacrilegious thoughts. Tell me, Monsieur le Ministre, have you purposely set this army of the unwashed against me?
Your Majesty, I have always been your most faithful servant.
Beware, Necker. Beware. I have a surprise in store for anyone who dares attack my throne.
Tick-Tock, Tick-Tock. Scherenbrille. Ja, ich fasse es, dass es die gleichen Objekte gibt, die manchmal zerstörbar sind und manchmal nicht. In der einen Mod, die ich gerade spiele, Gothic Mod, Legend of Azun, da gibt es auch Pflanzen und sowas oder auch also Gegenstände in der Welt, die aussehen wie normale Items, die man aber halt nicht einsammeln kann. Und das regt mich tierisch auf. Ist halt auch von der User Experience her schlecht. Oh ne, Bosskampf. Was kommt jetzt für einer? Achso, das ist. Nee, ist das der von den Katakomben? Nee, ist ein anderer. Irgendwas Elektrisches. Eklektisch. Der Schlüsselmeister oder was? Schatzmeister, naja. War ich nicht so weit weg, würde ich sagen. Was? Ich war doch weg. Bisher machbar. Was jetzt? Ah, alles easy. finde es cool, dass die Ausdauer auch langsam mal wieder auflädt, wenn man sich bewegt. Was? Was? War doch weg. Cheater. Also bei dem ist auf jeden Fall wichtig, dass man nah dran bleibt. Ja, wie trifft er mich da? Ah, jetzt habe ich nichts gesehen. Ja, uncool. Der war nicht so schwer.
Suzanne, my dear Suzanne, take my hand, please. Don't let them take me away. No. Oh no, this has to stop. I don't want to be tormented anymore.
That is not my intention. I have come to rescue you.
Rescue me? But what on earth are you?
It is of no importance. What did you see and hear before you regained consciousness?
I had frightful visions, rageful wraiths filled with pain and sorrow. And it was cold enough to curdle the blood. Oh, it's impossible to describe. All the rage and anger. I was in another body, I think. So big, so powerful. And there was this commanding voice, ordering me to spread terror and death. Did I really hear it? Or did I momentarily lose my mind?
Ja, das war doch jetzt die Option, oder?
What did you see and hear before you regained consciousness?
I had frightful visions, and it was cold enough to all the rage, and there was this... Did I really hear it?
Manchmal verschwinden die Optionen, manchmal nicht.
Who are you, monsieur?
Don't you know? I'm Jacques Necker, Ministre des Finances. Well, I was before I was captured. But this situation suggests that the king has decided to dismiss me from his service.
What does he accuse you of?
My alleged connivance with the Third Estate, no doubt. And, most of all, for having been the first to ask to convene the Estates General.
How and when were you captured?
When the machines attacked, my wife and I fled our home to hide not far from there, in the Église Sainte-Marie. But we didn't stand a chance against the machines. They overran the nave, wantonly mowing down the faithful. My wife, my poor wife, she wasn't able to escape. I'm sadly convinced of this. As for me, my life was spared only so I could be tormented. What is the meaning of all this?
What will you do now?
There is no future for me in this kingdom. I need to find a safe place where I can prepare for my departure as soon as possible.
I will take you to the Cordelier convent. You will be safe there.
Ach, da macht es gleich einen Levelwechsel. Das ist ja uncool. Habe ich jetzt wenigstens den Schlüssel bekommen? Und was ist mit dem Loot vom Boss? Kann ich den jetzt noch looten?
À la bonne heure, she's back.
Aegis,
What a joy and relief to see you again.
Monsieur,
Welcome to our stronghold. I'm sure that everyone here is aware of the great debt we all owe you. As you can see, the most exhausted among us are growing stronger.
While the most determined are already planning our counterattack.
I did not expect to see you all together.
4 days ago, the representatives of the Third Estate gathered in a tennis court. They swore not to separate until they had established a constitution for the nation. But that was not the only oath we swore. All the honorable men who were at Versailles, representatives and patriots, members of the Club Breton, secretly swore to meet here if they were dispersed.
You, Aegis, have allowed them to gather once again. Though unfortunately many are missing, we still have hope.
Why did you choose to meet in this convent?
It was my idea. Voyez-vous, I stay here whenever my obligations bring me to Paris. No other retreat inspires such peace and contemplation. Et puis, truth be told, this building has always felt like a fortress to me. Just look at how thick these walls are.
For 2 whole days, the patriots in the quarter consolidated the outer walls to make it an impenetrable citadel. No automat has broken through our defenses yet.
Where are the monks, mon père?
They are secluded in their quarters, praying for the salvation of the people of Paris. However, we bear no illusions. We are weak, we are divided.
And we are unarmed. Without you, without your warrior strength, we have no chance of turning things around.
You are sent by heaven above, Aegis. From now on, you may consider the Cordelia Convent your headquarters and a welcome refuge.
We must speak, you and I, in private, if you please. Monsieur de Lafayette must not hear a word of what I'm about to tell you.
Aha,
What do you
Verschwörung.
mean? You all seem to be certain that I will use my strengths to serve your cause. Are you forgetting that I have a task to accomplish?
Not at all, madame. We all know and support your plan to free Monsieur de Vaucanson. That is why I've taken the time to think of a way for you to get to the Bastille.
I am listening.
There is a patriot in Paris whose pamphlets have aroused Monsieur de Lafayette's ire. His anger is so strong that the poor man had to disappear to escape arrest. I know that he is secretly hiding in the quarries in Montmartre. A labyrinth he is said to know like the back of his hand. If anyone can help you navigate the obstacles that keep you from the Bastille, it is the elusive Monsieur Marat.
Very well. I will go and find him.
Wunderschön, diese Säule.
Monsieur Necker,
I owe you my life, madame. So I'm embarrassed to ask you for anything more.
do not fear. You have my full attention.
Suzanne, my beloved wife. I cannot bring myself to accept her death. Despite all the evidence, I still hope to see her alive again. I need to be sure. Mon Dieu. What have I done to deserve such a fate? Why has the king sworn to destroy me? And all that I hold dear. After everything I've done for him. My abnegation.
Why would the king owe you anything?
I dedicated my life to the kingdom as his minister. Well, my life and my fortune as well. I refuse to accept any remuneration for my services in order to keep the accounts balanced. And I personally fill the king's coffers with 2.5 million livres from my own private accounts. Bonds in the Caisse d'Escompte, which the king keeps in a tailor-made armoire d'affaires in the Palais des Tuileries. He stores all his secrets there. I'd wager there's enough in there to sully his reputation 100 times over. You must retrieve these bonds post-haste, madame. They must not be used to allow this madman to build more murderous automats.
Do I have any chance of opening it?
Don't even think about it, madame. Despite your incredible strength, that safe is said to be impenetrable. It was designed precisely to that effect. I personally never had access to it. I suppose that its contents were too unofficial for the honest minister that I always was.
Who has the key?
The king does, that's for sure.
Anyone else?
How could I know? His shadow advisors, most likely. Now that I think about it, there's a rumor that has been going round Versailles for a while now. It's said that Monsieur de Mirabeau used to come and go as he pleased at the Tuileries, that he oversaw diplomatic missions for the crown. Not in any official capacity, of course. Who knows? He might know more about this matter than I do.
I will ask him. I will look into what happened to your wife.
Bless you, madame.
Where should I start my investigation?
In the Faubourg Saint-Germain, east of Les Invalides, we were separated in the Église Sainte-Marie on Rue de Bourgogne.
I shall be off.
You are the only hope of seeing my beloved wife again, and of foiling the plans of the clockwork tyrant.
Mitnehmen? Ah, da. Ein Brief an Monsieur de Lafayette. La Belle Gabrielle, den 25. April 1789. An den Marquis de Lafayette. Mein lieber Ehemann, wie vereinbart, habe ich Monsieur Messier, den Leiter des Botanischen Gartens, heute Morgen empfangen, als er aus dem Boot stieg. Er war nach der langen Reise in sehr schlechter Verfassung. Dennoch legte er Wert darauf, die Plantage zu besuchen, bevor er mir seine geschätzten Ansichten mitteilte. Er hält den Boden für hervorragend und empfiehlt, Baumschulen einzurichten, um dort 500 junge Gewürznelkbäume zu pflanzen. Es wäre ratsam, Leitern für die Ernte, Trockenschuppen und Lagerräume zu bauen. Mein Liebster, bitte sage mir so bald wie möglich, ob du diesen Vorschlägen zustimmst. Ich sehne mich nach dir und hoffe von ganzem Herzen, dich in dem fernen Land wiederzusehen, das uns so lieb und teuer ist. Adrien.
Monsieur Necker.
Ach komm, ich wollte doch bloß den Dialog zumachen.
Eh bien, do you come bearing good news?
I'm not done investigating yet.
Don't give. Remember, that's in the. As for the.
Also so Quatsch. Ein an Aubert-Grivois gerichteter Brief. Bla 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 bla. Montpierre. Montpierre? Keine Ahnung. Unsere Ordensregeln verbieten uns die Beteiligung an säkularen Angelegenheiten. Durch Gebet und nur durch Gebet werden wir die Seelen derer retten, die der Herr in seiner heiligen Barmherzigkeit zu sich ruft. Ich vertraue ihnen die Reliquientruhe unserer Bruderschaft an und bete, dass sie, so wie jene, die an ihrer Seite im Speisesaal unseres Konvents Schutz suchen, von den Verwüstungen verschont bleiben, die uns ereilen könnten. Möge Gott sie behüten. Pater Etienne, Prior des Ordens der minderen Brüder. So.
Monsieur le Marquis,
I'm listening, Aegis.
I went to the meeting point you indicated. I had an unexpected encounter there.
Get to the facts. Who did you meet there?
Madame de Polignac, the Queen's favorite. She made no secret of her reason for being in that desolate place. So now I know all about the precious cargo that is the cause of your great concern.
Seigneur. The children. What happened? Tell me that nothing bad has happened to them.
That remains to be determined. One thing is certain. Charlotte and the young Dauphin are missing. The evidence points to an ambush by the Duc d'Orléans' men. They apparently attacked the wagon the children were hiding in.
How the hell did they know?
This ambush could not have taken place without an accomplice. You were betrayed.
A plague on Orléans and his damned informants. They have taken the children.
That still remains to be seen. It seems that the Duke's men were interrupted while carrying out their task. 3 of them lost their lives. A 4th was able to escape.
Excellent. I bet it was my hussars who sent the vermin running. But why the hell haven't they reported to me yet?
Only they could tell you that.
Would you be so kind as to go and find them? The lives of these poor children hang in the balance. My hussars are stationed at Les Invalides. That's from where they were to set off for Gros Caillou.
Goodbye, Monsieur le Marquis.
Die Quest wollte ich ja eh noch fertig machen. Die noch.
A word, s'il vous plaît.
Ein an Julien Raymond gerichteter Brief. So Gott will, wird dieser Brief dich vor dem Zusammentreten der Generalstände erreichen. Wir ermuntern dich, gegen Versailles zu wettern und dich nicht auf landwirtschaftliche Fragen zu beschränken. Wir müssen vorbringen, dass wir keine Dispute haben und dass das, was die weisen Abgeordneten fordern, nicht zum Gesetz für uns werden sollte. Sei streitbar und bekämpfe die Verachtung, die sie uns entgegenbringen. Wir raten dir auch mit Monsieur Necker zu sprechen. Seine wohltätigen Werke zeugen von Menschlichkeit und deuten an, dass er ein offenes Ort für die Unterdrückung haben wird.
Monsieur Raymond.
Und wieder dieser Bug.
Aegis, we are very pleased to see you again. It was very unwise of us to leave the Société without such a capable bodyguard as yourself. It is a miracle that we got here safely.
What do you want to talk to me about?
Have you ever heard of the Club de Massiac, Aegis?
Nope.
No, monsieur.
It's an association that meets at the Hotel de Massiac, just west of Les Halles. It counts some of the wealthiest plantation owners in the Empire. Those from Saint-Domingue and the Petite Santilles, our most formidable adversaries. They are waging a war of influence to keep the slave trade going, and resort to the vilest methods to achieve their ends. They worship nothing but money, and their greed is matched only by their cruelty. Regrettably, my interests occasionally require me to suffer their company. 2 months ago, I was in Le Havre to settle some business with the Admiralty, when I overheard a conversation between 2 planters from Bastère. If they are to be believed, the Club de Massiac is plotting to create sleepless slaves, des esclaves sans sommeil. Those were their exact words. It's hard to say what this could possibly mean, but I fear they plan to administer some foul drug to their slaves to force them to toil day and night, without rest. Our organization will not let these poor souls endure such a hell. Aegis, we must look into this. It is a matter of great urgency.
You speak of greed, Monsieur Raymond. But could you enlighten us as to what makes you any different from the planters you condemn?
What exactly do you accuse me of, Monsieur de Robespierre? S'il vous plaît, do tell.
Do you not also exploit the labor of these poor souls yourself on your indigo plantation?
I fight every minute of every day to improve their condition. No one would have the audacity to deny this.
If that's the case, then why wait? Free them. You preach abolition, yet you continue to line your pockets at their expense. The truth is, you refuse to upend the established colonial order because your entire fortune depends on it.
It's easy to criticize from atop Mount Olympus, Maximilian. You know nothing of the realities of Saint-Domingue. What would happen to all these people if I freed them tomorrow? Without an education, without a livelihood, I would be condemning them to the most abject misery. No. I must act with both compassion and realism.
Any reform, revolutionary or not, must be taken step by step, with moderation and prudence.
This reform is not so difficult. I've begun it myself at La Belle Gabrielle, my plantation in Guyane. There you will not find slaves, but workers who earn a weekly wage. And my plantation is no less profitable.
Ah, yes, profit. Because that's the most important thing. Don't you see, the law of nature gives every man the right to cultivate his own land.
Monsieur, calm yourselves. I implore you. Now is no time to quarrel. What Monsieur Raymond has related to us is extremely worrying. We must find out more about this plot to create sleepless slaves as quickly as possible. Aegis, you are the only one who stands a chance of making it to the Hôtel de Massiac alive.
Ja, kommt schon einiges an Quests jetzt hier bei rum, ne? Ah, da ist ja noch eine Notiz. Also, ich habe jetzt mit den beiden, glaube ich, gequatscht. Dann gehen wir hier nochmal.
Aegis, I'd like to talk to you about my research. Do you have a few moments to spare for me?
Certainly, mon père. I am listening.
I've carefully collected the testimony of our companions here. Then I compared them with the observations made during my investigation of the man who calls himself Cagliostro. I came to quite the shocking conclusion. I believe I have discovered how the royal automats remain constantly in motion. Like clocks that never need winding. They get their energy from the souls of the dead, Aegis. They drink from the anima essence that permeates the purgatory described by Monseigneur de la Fare. These machines feed on the dead. The greater the massacre, the deeper the river where they slake their thirst.
Ich dachte, das hat man schon mal rausgefunden.
Is there any way to stop the bloodshed, mon père?
I believe there is always hope, Aegis. As long as I remain free to pursue my research, I will never lose faith. I keep thinking about the 3 Nemes. These echoes. All of this is clearly related to Nicholas Flamel's work.
The alchemist?
Precisely, mon ami. And this leads me to fear the worst.
What have we to fear from an alchemist who died nearly 4 centuries ago?
Not him, per se. Rather the heretic who is exploiting his discoveries. This poses a grave danger to us all.
What do you fear, mon père?
What do I fear? Nearly 2 months ago, the king forbade anyone from setting foot inside the Église Saint-Jacques de la Boucherie, near the Hôtel de Ville. He had the priests forcibly removed. They hardly even had time to save the church's sacred relics. Since then, only our Father in Heaven knows what they've been doing there, hidden away from the people of Paris.
Oh dear. Flamel's tomb.
My thoughts exactly, Monseigneur. Legend has it that Flamel was buried with his lapis philosophorum.
What is the lapis philosophorum, mon père?
The Philosopher's Stone. Where do I begin? No one knows its true nature, or even what it might look like. All that is known is that it is said to grant untold riches and eternal life to whoever possesses it. Its very existence is questioned, of course. But if it's true, just imagine what sinister purpose the king and his accomplices might find for it. We must elucidate this matter at any cost.
Naja.
Where is this tomb?
In the church's crypt. The priests always ensured that it remained undisturbed, despite the mystery surrounding it. But now they're no longer there to protect it. We need to know for certain.
But how? There are automats everywhere.
Aegis,
Oui, mon père.
will you help us get to the bottom of this?
Did you not say that it was impossible to enter the church?
There is perhaps a solution. The penitent's door behind the Châtelet leads to the Quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. It's only opened on Good Friday, but this year, I had the honor and good fortune to lead the procession. Here's the key.
Ja.
Goodbye, mon père.
Endlich. Gut, dann habe ich das auch erledigt. Dann... Habt ihr noch was zu
My
sagen?
respects, Monseigneur.
I didn't expect to see you again so soon, Aegis. We missed you when we had to leave our shelter at Place Saint-Méry. The path that led us to this convent was not an easy one, believe me.
Goodbye, Monseigneur.
Allez en paix, Aegis.
So, der hier.
Did you go to the Hotel de Massiac?
No, not yet.
Remember, it's by Les Halles, just west of the Marché des Innocents.
What is the aim of this organization?
We publish articles and exert our influence on those who are in a position to improve the lot of our unfortunate brethren. Our numbers grow by the day, and we have many illustrious members, such as the Comte de Mirabeau and the Marquis de Lafayette. But it was Monsieur Brissot and the abbot that founded the group.
Good old Brissot. Shouldn't he be here by now?
Yes, mon père. He should have arrived hours ago. Alas, there has been no sign of him.
I hope to God that no misfortune has befallen him.
What fate does the kingdom reserve for those with black skin?
According to tradition, any enslaved person who sets foot on French soil is freed.
This rule is most problematic in the eyes of planters in the colonies, who would seek to maintain their precious labor force.
This is why, for the past 12 years, no black people have been allowed to disembark in any of the kingdom's ports. Those who accompany their masters on the journey are imprisoned in the Admiralty's jails the moment they leave the ship. As for those who manage to evade the authorities, they live in fear of the raids carried out by the Marshalsea.
Are you not subject to these laws, Monsieur Raymond?
I am fortunate enough to have been born a subject of the king through my father, and also to have received an education, and to be wealthy.
Naturally, that makes all the difference.
Seine Anwesenheit.
You are quite a long way from home, Monsieur Raymond.
I haven't been back to Saint-Domingue in nearly 5 years. I left my most trusted men in charge of overseeing my indigo plantation. I came to France with the aim of having an audience with the king. I hoped to convince him to use his automats for agricultural work. I was of the belief that this was the best way to ease the suffering of our enslaved brethren. Alas, it was all for naught. I was only able to get an audience with the Minister of the Navy, and even that was granted reluctantly. Later, when the king convened the Estates General, my hopes were renewed. I saw it as an opportunity to make our voices heard. And then, mon Dieu, what a disaster, Aegis. What a complete disaster.
Ist dabei, belassen.
See you later, perhaps.
See you later, Alligator. So, das sind noch mehr. Das nimmt ja gar kein Ende.
Monsieur Lavoisier,
What can I do for you, Aegis?
how do you intend to counter the king's actions?
Unfortunately, we don't have the upper hand. For now, we can only hope to protect ourselves from him. I am convinced that something is afoot. Something that could destroy all our hopes in an instant.
You have my full attention.
You should know that I am a gunpowder commissioner. As such, I oversee the provision of gunpowder to the kingdom's arsenals, l'Arsenal de Paris in particular. For the past 2 days, a large quantity of gunpowder from Marsangy has been sitting near Les Invalides. It's in a warehouse by the factories. But the men I sent to take possession of the cargo and transport it to the Arsenal have gone missing. Do you realize what this means?
The gunpowder could have fallen into our enemy's hands.
It's possible. One thing is certain. It's enough to destroy half of Paris. Whether it is still in the warehouse or has fallen into the wrong hands, we must find it urgently. Then, if possible, we must neutralize it.
How?
Simply by placing it in contact with water. Nothing could be easier in theory, but we must find a way to flood it.
Flood the gunpowder? You're out of your mind, Lavoisier. We're in the most desperate of situations and you want to deprive us of such a valuable resource. What will our cannons use once we have formed our army of patriots?
Your army, Marquis, is presently but a figment of your imagination.
I see. So you're one of those men who would sound the retreat before the battle has even begun.
I will go to the warehouse. Once I have located the powder, I will decide what to do with it. Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier.
Noch ein Nebenquest. So. Ein gegen Monsieur Necker gerichtetes Pamphlet, so heißt es. Was nützen Verstand, Scharfsinn, Kühnheit und Beharrlichkeit, wenn sie nicht für das Allgemeinwohl eingesetzt werden? Das Volk wird nicht vergessen, dass Monsieur Necker vor einem Jahr eine organisierte Hungersnot in die Wege leitete. Dadurch, dass er im Sommer 1788 eine drohende Knappheit ankündigte, schürte er mutwillig die hohen Brotpreise. Dann nutzte er diese Inflation als Vorwand, um ein öffentliches Monopol einzuführen und die Bäcker ihrer Freiheit zu berauben, sich nach eigenem Ermessen Vorräte zu beschaffen. Auf diese Weise, liebe Leser, riss unser Philanthrop das gesamte Korn des Königreichs an sich, um seinen Komplizen Spekulationsgewinne zu ermöglichen. Seine Freunde, die Minister, Edelleute, Richter und andere kluge Gauner waren an dem Komplott beteiligt. Gemeinsam machten diese Räuber aus dem Unglück des Königreichs ein profitables Geschäft, unterstützt von allen Dienern und Huren des Hofes. Meine Feder ist frei, Bürger, und sie wird Monsieur Necker schonungslos verfolgen, solange er am Steuerrad der Staatsgeschäfte bleibt. Sie wird seine Verbrechen aufdecken, bis der Hungersspekulant dem gerechten Volkstod nicht mehr entgehen kann und sein Heil in der Flucht sucht.
Eh bien. Do you come bearing news from Monsieur Marat?
No, not yet.
I have it on good authority that he is in the quarries in Montmartre. He's the only person who could show you a way to reach the Bastille. Don't forget.
Is your plan to arm the populace going as planned?
Oh, far from it, madame. The situation is hopeless. Even if they were armed and formed into battalions, the Patriots would not be able to fight.
Why is that?
Most of the strategic points in the city are inaccessible. A strange illness strikes all who try. They are seized by an irrational fear, one so great that those who do not lose consciousness go mad or perish on the spot. This makes it impossible to do anything. Any attempt at an uprising is a fool's errand.
The locations you mention share a common feature. A statue holding a lantern.
That's right. From what little I could make out, they appear to be depictions of a Vestal Virgin watching over the sacred fire.
Une lanterne des morts.
What do you mean, monsieur?
Lanterns of the dead. Ancient stone pillars that are found near some cemeteries. Our ancestors kept a fire going on top of them. Today, no one knows what they were used for. A symbol of light triumphing over darkness, perhaps? Others claim that human bones, mercury and lime, were burnt there. Some odious sorcery that was meant to entrap the tormented souls that wandered around the burial grounds.
That makes sense and confirms my observations. I am now certain that the King's lanterns capture the anima essence of the dead who have been cast into purgatory, and that this essence is what allows the automats to stay in motion. without needing a key to wind them.
Paternoster quies in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum.
Now that I think about it, madame, you obviously are not subject to the harmful effects of these lanterns.
No, au contraire. When activated, these statues reveal an apparatus that allows me to repair myself.
It follows that if you destroy these lanterns, the people will be free to fight again.
Unfortunately, they are preternaturally strong. Nothing can so much as damage them.
Come now, no metal is indestructible. If we knew what these lanterns were made of, perhaps I could find a way to destroy them.
Take a look at this ledger, Monsieur Lavoisier. It contains a list of metals. I found it by the factories, near Vaucanson's workshop.
Let's see. Steel, molybdenum, very good. Tiens, donc, tungsten and zirconium. This master blacksmith knows his trade. These metals can be used to make the strongest alloy imaginable, as long as you have a fortune to invest.
For that, our clockwork tyrant knows no bounds.
Well, Monsieur Lavoisier, is there any way to break this alloy?
Break it? Certainly not. But a mineral acid could change its structure. Melt it, perhaps. I would recommend sulfuric acid, or vitriol, if you prefer to use its common name.
Where can I obtain some vitriol?
I had some, but my laboratory at L'Arsenal was ransacked. I can't tell you any more than that. If Monsieur Bailly were here, he might be able to suggest a solution.
Aber, ich soll jetzt die Kristalline zerstören? Ist doch Quatsch. Wieso geht das jetzt nicht?
Monsieur de Mirabeau. Minister Necker claims that you are a familiar face at the Tuileries Palace.
That old story. Will it hound me until I have drawn my last breath? This, madame, is nothing but an unfounded rumor that I am trying in vain to dispel. To what do I owe the displeasure of having to defend myself once again?
I must get hold of some documents that are kept in an armored safe in the king's chambers.
What lock could resist your talents?
Minister Necker said it was indestructible.
Oh, I see. Well, let me think. Who could help you? After all, a lock is nothing more than a simple mechanism. If only Monsieur Bailly were here, he would find a solution for you in no time.
To free him, I would have to go back to the Louvre.
Well, then I think you should. Now, who else might be of use? Oh, there's Monsieur Lavoisier as well, our gunpowder commissioner. I'm sure he'll have no trouble finding you something you can use to blow the door off that stubborn safe.
Good. I will go and find him.
Now, if you'll forgive me, I have an urgent matter to attend to.
You are forgiven for everything.
In that case, it has been a pleasure, madam.
Ah ja, der Bailly war der erste, den ich gefunden habe, den ich nicht befreit habe damals. Also nicht befreien konnte oder wie auch immer. Okay. Dann habe ich hier, wie es aussieht, erstmal alles. Und ich müsste ja jetzt einige neue Quests haben. Das heißt, ich könnte jetzt... Ne, die Kutsche ist da unten. Ah, hier wäre auch... Achso, nee. Ja, keine Ahnung. Wir kommen ja noch ein paar Mal hier zurück. Behaupte ich zumindest mal. So, dann gehen wir jetzt... Hat so viele Möglichkeiten. Also da ist Hauptquest, da gehen wir als letztes hin. Da haben wir 3 Nebenquests. Hier haben wir 2. Und wo war die... Was... Die? Ne, war doch hier, oder? Ne, wir gehen jetzt erstmal hierher. Ja, beim Louvre war das, genau. Ich meine, die Reiter habe ich ja gesehen schon von weitem.
They fled in that direction. I should be able to find a way in.
Ah ja.
I have already passed by the Église Sainte-Marie. I can get back there quickly from here.
Semi-quickly. So, dann mache ich das als letztes. Moment, da kann ich gerade durch wahrscheinlich, oder? Ja, nicht ganz. Wenn ich hier links gehe und dann gleich wieder rechts. Ah ja. Weiß ich auch direkt, wo ich bin. Ja, dann gehe ich erst in die... Oder? Ah shit, nee, hier war's. Erstmal hier noch meine Belohnung abholen quasi. Wunderbar. So. Was liegt noch da? Hat er auch noch ein Item für mich? Yes. Panzermodul, Modulschlüssel. Auch Jalkum. So, und hier vorne liegt noch jetzt die Reiter. Ein Rücktritt schreiben. Eure Majestät, da es offenkundig ist, dass ich euer Vertrauen verloren habe und ihr zögert, mich abzuberufen, bitte ich euch, mich von meinen Pflichten als Minister zu entbinden. Ich hoffe aufrichtig, dass mein Nachfolger euren Untertanen Wohlstand bescheren wird. Die Frucht pflichtbewussten Dienstes, ich verbleibe euer bescheidener und ergebener Diener, Jacques Necker. So, da haben wir noch eine Truhe. So, dann machen wir jetzt das hier noch. Dann ist die Folge auch schon wieder rum. Ein von General de Lafayette unterzeichneter Einsatzbefehl. Ich befehle Ihnen, sich nach Saint-Louis zu begeben, 4 Wegstunden südöstlich von Mühlhausen. Es ist Ihnen und Ihren Männern verboten, mit den Passagieren zu sprechen. Sie werden sie den Ulanen von Hauptmann Häuser anvertrauen, die im Gasthaus der Poststation auf Sie warten. Okay, das heißt, ich muss jetzt wieder zum Marquis. Ah, und hier ist jetzt die Tür offen. War die gerade eben schon offen? Mysteriös. Ja, ein Siedler in der Tiefe. Naja, dann... Ja, dann mache ich hier schon mal Schluss und wir machen dann beim nächsten Mal... die anderen Quests hier. Dann danke ich euch fürs Zuschauen. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, lasst mir ein Like und ein Abo da. Und dann sehen wir uns zur nächsten Folge wieder bei Steelrising. Ciao und bis zum nächsten Mal.